This podcast contains an English accent that most of our Irish listeners will find offensive. Also, there may be some colourful language that you're going to find less offensive. Now, over to Ryan and Leon. Enjoy the podcast.
From Dublin, oh Dublin, the heartbreak just Dublin, the landscape in ruins from Downey to Crumlin, the Stephen's Green shopping centre, I can see the doors in which you enter, the doors of which will soon be closed. And what'll they do with all the clothes? What'll they do with the fancy duns? They only just done it up, that duns. Done up and done away with. And where would they put all the bags from Bag City? Bag them up, I suppose. Bag up the whole bloody city. Because soon shards of glass will fall on Tiger and Carroll's, raining down like bows and arrows, like a gunship up the Liffey in 1916. Oh, MacDonagh, McDermott, you would have loved Stephen's Green. I picture James Connolly getting plasters and boots, Padraig Pearse and best menswear getting fit for suits. In TK Maxx, I see Constance Markovic, while the British fought next door in the park of which she was second in command. Oh, St. Stephen's Green, where the ducks do quack. What's the quack? What's the story? Now, it's not what's the story, but how many stories? How many cranes? How many hotels? What would Eamon have said? Not Dunphy, but De Valera, about these new architects, without a single bit of flair, a generic design, without heart, without feeling, without jingle jangle. For the old triangle, I think of the Clares, which is no longer there. It's already beginning. The ground floor is thinning, like the hair on the head of the man in the barber who's always got his hair done in St. Stephen's Green. Dublin, oh Dublin, the heartbreak just Dublin, the landscape in ruins from Downey to Crumlin.
Oh my God, what the fuck is that?
It's a problem, because it's meant to be a piss take.
That's fucking incredible.
No, it's too good.
Who the fuck wrote that?
Ashlyn Bonner from RTE2FM.
No way.
Part of the breakfast show.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking fair balls to her.
Just as a piss take.
That's unreal.
The Dublin spoken word community shaking in their Dublin boots.
I'm actually annoyed because that's really good.
So annoying. It's actually really good, yeah.
That's definitely ChatGPT or something.
You're not having it.
There's a ghost writer. There's a ghost writer. Roz Purcell's at the right now.
There's a bit of that going on. I saw a clip of Kevin McGann, and he did a fake Dublin spoken word piece as well, and it's I don't know, man. Like it's just a little too close to the bone.
I think what they're doing is they're jealous of our
well
talent,
jealous,
and they're dipping their toe in a parody, and then they'll get recognition that it's good, and then they'll start releasing a book of poems or an album. It's stay in your fucking lane, Ashlyn Bonner. I'll tell you that anyway. Don't be talking spoken word that good, all right.
She actually copied you, I think, with the and it just keeps going. You do that sometimes.
I growling, I do that sometimes. Fucking, it just
she copied your growl.
Yeah, that's a copyright growl.
Yeah,
you will see me in court.
Take
tennis court
to court.
I'll take the whole national broad again. Now since the 80s. All right, we won't talk about that. Anyway, yeah, don't be fucking taking the piss out of us and actually doing it really well. All right, write a shit poem for
She's
us.
obviously been to some gigs. Ashlyn Bonner.
Secretly,
she must have
she's been writing for years. Secretly, I heard.
She mentioned the cranes. Adam Kelly's poem about the cranes.
Yeah. She just did a deep dive.
Yeah, she's seen Emmett O'Brien's poem. Dirty
the wordplay was fucking incredible.
I know. What's the quack?
I'm
Freak City.
I'm not annoyed that she took the piss out of us. I'm annoyed that she did it so well.
I know. It's annoying. Fuck's sake.
I'm going home.
I think. Listen, we could easily do that job as well. We could easily be RT2FM radio presenters.
Could we?
Yeah, talking about J-Lo and that.
Talking about which type. Well, in fairness, we did say what kind of potato were you? On
we
Show
did.
Radio.
Yeah.
Maybe she heard that. Maybe she's a secret fan.
Maybe this is
it's a response. This is
a West Side Story issue.
We slagged the fact that we said they were like Facebook quizzes, those breakfast shows.
Yeah.
And now she's started slagging spoken word.
Oh.
I think we've sussed you out, Ashley.
I see what's going on.
We know you listen to this podcast. We know it. We've confidence in ourselves. So anyway, we cracked that case. What are we doing now?
You were... speaking of, RT2FM radio presenters, I'm sure do a lot of rubbing shoulders with the
big wigs.
With the big wigs.
Yeah.
And so are you.
Oh yeah, with the biggest
this
wig
weekend.
of all.
Yeah, you massive.
The
big
mega wig.
Yeah.
The mega wig.
Who are you hanging around with this weekend in Ballydehob?
In Ballydehob, our place down in the fucking West Cork.
Yeah.
That was more of a Limerick accent. I apologise for West Corkians, but sure looks to listen. It was deadly. I was down for the Jazz Festival.
Hi. Welcome to Jazz Club.
Welcome
nice.
Welcome to Jazz FM. So down there for the Jazz Festival, and it was lethal. Did 3 gigs technically, but old Robbie Sheehan was down with us on the Saturday.
Hollywood's very own.
Yeah, the Umbrella Academy, love, hate, killing Bono. You know, great play things.
Misfits.
Misfits he was in as well. Yeah.
The short story from Blind Boy he was in.
He
2
was
years ago.
Yeah.
Erskine Fogarty.
Yeah. He also wrote his own collection of his 2 books, and he does loads of bits, but he's been dipping his toe knuckles in poetry, in poems.
Yeah,
like Ashton Bonner secretly.
He's been slumming it,
although he's not been taking the piss out of us with his poetry, unlike Ashton Bonner. But
it's a real deal.
He's been writing really, really good fucking poems. Yeah, for the
Mad.
last 2 years or so. And we were lucky enough to get him for a Rising Tide gig to perform. That was the first time I ever saw him perform poetry. And we got to hang out with him afterwards, and it was a really cool weekend. But bit fucking nuts.
Yeah, of course it's nuts.
But the whole weekend is mad. Like Ballydehob, anyone that's interested in the West Cork area, there's some really cool things down there. Like Ballydehob has the Jazz Festival. They close the road for the parade, but they're like, the only way you can close the parade is if there's a funeral. That's the only thing you can close the public access road. So they have they have a fake funeral.
Pretend it's a funeral.
They carry the fucking coffin down. And then there's all the jazz musicians.
Coffin or float, like
they have lads. You know that African meme of the lads with the really bougie, funeral, and they're like dancing with the coffin, and they're turning around and all with the coffin. There was lads doing that with like this fucking fake coffin, all like, and then they have like,
oh my god,
it's so good. And then they have a lot of jazz musicians following them, and then they have like loads of different kinds of like, what are they called, marionettes, with the big huge kind of sculptures, like big costume things going around. And then they go down the end of the hill, and then the owner Joe of Levis's, which is like this really famous bar down there,
the bar, yeah,
they have a kind of almost like a mini street party there, where all they kind of coincide at the bottom, and everyone's there dancing away, and they have the music, and then it finishes and everyone goes and gets battered in Levis's for the day. Brilliant. And then all the other pubs around it, unreal. And then like Skull, which is the neighbouring town, they have the Shore Film Festival down there. There's loads of because loads of directors live around the kind of West Cork area. They have like a Shore Film Festival on. So there's loads of cultural stuff going on down in West Cork. It's unreal, and they're all just like hippies. They're all just fucking chilling out down there, having the time of their lives.
It's a fun place to say as well.
It's Ballydehob. Ballydehob. It's fucking unreal. But so got to do a couple of gigs down there. It was unreal. And then I heard this poem from Robert Sheehan.
What's he write poems about? What's his vibe like?
I have to, it's
surrealist.
It's fucking. He has really he's got really deep poems, and then he's got funny poems, and they're really insightful. Obviously, he's written a short story collection, and he's written like a book of meditation as well. Like, he is a writer anyway, and he writes really good fucking poetry as well, and he's gorgeous, the bastard.
Yeah, very handsome
fucking
man.
arsehole with a face
very
like that.
Handsome man, yeah.
It was. But he sent me this. So I asked him I'd love to share this particular poem, because he read it out, and it always the last 2 gigs they got a really good response. But it's untitled from what I can imagine. But I'm going to read it out in my best Robert Sheehan voice. I'm not really going to do I'm not going to do a Portlaoise accent, I swear. I'm just going to read it out in my normal voice. But look, these are the words of Robert Sheehan. Can't fully recall what it is that you said. Huffing petrol in the back of my uncle's shed, but it was something about the locality of time. Being a futile labour which keeps us all blind, and the point where my face made good friends with the ground, all I could hear was a balloon squeaking sound. And you in a tizzy making calls on your phone, and the taste of fresh blood coming out of my shroud. Then my uncle appeared, or so you later said, and lifted me up by the back of the head, and made full connection to my sweet petrol dream, which psychically conjured the hospital screen, and the machinery making all sorts of loud beeps, and the nurse who looked ready to fall on her feet, and the stale air above me escaping my clasp, and the non-local time just outside of my grasp. We were back in the shed then the following month, and my throat burnt like charcoal and stung like a cunt, but it didn't prevent us from chasing the dream where the stage before life made liquid of concrete, and that stage where the setting prompts competing greys, from the crests to the bottoms of non-local waves, where all of my life's knowledge is captured in smell and the echoing rings of a rusty bronze bell. Inhaling it all prompts the need for an end. When the petrol wore off round an illusory bend, you said what we'd shared had been life-changing crack, before leaving and saying that you weren't coming back. The gas load of mush that used to be brains was vestige of the petrol's ill-gotten gains. I heard my uncle say, not that I know if it's true, that you get a whopper good bang off of huffing wood glue.
That was an untitled poem by the actor Robert Sheehan. And there's so much in this.
Oh yeah.
There's so much in this. It's like, it's juvenile, just messing.
Delinquency.
Yeah. And then it's kind of chasing dreams. I had an image of him like having a friend who he knows he can't be friends with anymore because he has to chase his dreams of success.
Yeah.
There's loads going on
There's
here.
so many things going on in it. And
There's
like
so much going on.
It's
in
funny,
it.
but it's also deep. Like the friend who goes and he's never coming back.
Yeah.
And like, you know, although he doesn't enjoy huffing petrol, he still keeps going back to the shed. And it's like that moment where they're both feeling like, I've never done it, but I've had friends that were stupid enough to huff petrol, and apparently it's fucking awful. Like, it's horrible. It's not enjoyable. But young lads do it because you can get a buzz off it. And
economically, if you want to get high, it's an amazing choice.
Yeah, it's
it's the best choice to make economically.
Economic socio, yeah, exactly. You can buy a fucking rag of it for about 20 cents. But apparently it's terrible. Like, it's not. You just feel really dizzy and sick and all. And imagine that's what it is, inhaling car fumes. But like, his mate is in the poem was saying like this, you know, the chats they've had during those fucking petrol
Changed
dreams.
lives.
It's one of the best crack they've ever had. Like, you know. So then how's the mate's life going if like huffing petrol in a shed with their mate is the best time they've had?
The best time they've had.
And then they keep going back. Like, it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, stuck in a loop as well until one of you goes, I need something bigger here.
Yeah.
And I can't ever come back.
It's almost like a petrol dream. Like, the whole poem is like, you know, and then they're chasing a different high because the uncle's then like, oh, wood glue was some crack as well.
Oh yeah, who's the uncle? Like, who's this guy who's still here?
Yeah.
Doing
He's
that.
Still huffing glue as opposed to fucking petrol. As if it's like
who had a mate who he didn't leave, maybe.
You know what I mean? So
fucking hell.
There's so many things, as I said, like, so he's not only is he a fucking actor, but the bastard is also a really, really talented poet as well.
Yeah, what a world that was.
Yeah. So it just brings you into it, because, you know, have you ever read his short story collection is really good, and it's it's quite absurd as well, and like it kind of puts you in these, like, it's a lot like Blind Boys.
Yeah, absurdish.
It drops into like a little microcosm of weird absurdity.
Well, that's what that did, kind of. Yeah,
and the poetry is like an even smaller version of that, but like, you know, it's giving you little limited details, but you're building a world in your mind while you're listening or you're reading this poem. Like, it's so good.
And as you're talking now, I'm kind of thinking about maybe the couple of friends that I had that I couldn't hang around with anymore, and maybe hopefully people who are listening are just giving a nod and a wink to those people who were just great crack, but you knew you couldn't really.
The lads sniffing glue at the back of class.
You couldn't have stuck around with them too long, but they were great.
Your brain cells are too precious to be friends with them.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You have to move on.
Yeah, as I said, like, it was a wild weekend, but it was great to experience some of that poetry as well. Because I know he's only done like 3 gigs in terms of poetry wise, so he's still relatively new to the scene, which is mad to think after all the success he has as an actor. Because he's done like, I saw him in Beckett's Endgame as well. He's done.
Oh wow, yeah.
And he did it with Frankie Boyle in the Gate Theatre in Dublin. And I saw him in Reunion as well. It's an Enda Walsh play. I saw it in the Black Box in Galway. Again, theatre actor, film actor, very good. But like, can also write poetry, which is He's like a Swiss Army knife of culture.
What other theatre shows you've been going to?
I went
Big
to
fucking culture vulture knob. He's listing all the shows you've been to.
I went to this theatre. I went to the theatre. There's me sitting in a pair of fucking Ghostbuster Crocs, being a culture boy. Alright, you wouldn't understand.
I definitely wouldn't.
You're too
understand.
busy huffing petrol, alright, in your shed.
Get back to weird stuff happening in the countryside of Ireland.
Yeah.
Do you know about the work of the matchmaker Willie Daly?
I know the name.
Willie Daly.
Remind me.
In Listonvarna, in County Clare, every year there is a matchmaking festival.
Yes.
And it's a bit of crack and there's music and stuff, but at the centre of it is a man called Willie Daly, who is still operating as a rural matchmaker.
He's like the Cilla Black.
Yeah.
Of Listonvarna.
And he's got a big dusty book of all of the single people that have sent applications to him over the years. So you go to him if you're really at a fucking, you've lost to the end of the tether and you don't know you've had enough of the apps. You give Willie Daly a call, and he meets you in his caravan, and he lives on a farm, and he asks you questions, and he goes through this list and keeps your details on file just in case. I was at a poetry gig. It's not really a gig. It was like my meet-up in Lucan, in Lucan Library yesterday. And one of the girls had gone to see Willie Daly.
Oh my God!
And if a dub is doing this,
all the way down,
it's not going great.
Listonvarna's in Clare's.
In Clare,
so fucking 4 hours.
She went down. She paid. He asked for a $5 for the initial meeting. He asked for a $5. Cross his palm with a €5 note. He has a chat with you. Keeps your details. Apparently, Willie Daly was hounding Claudine, her name is, trying to get her to say yes to these 85-year-old farmers from County Galway, like Cove and shit little towns. And she'd take these phone calls how old are you? I'm 75. Oh yeah, this girl's only I don't know, our age.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
oh really?
Yeah. So she's written a story/poem about her encounter with the matchmaker Willie Daly.
This is incredible. This is the most Irish thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's really good. And the poem is called Willie Daly, Matchmaker Extraordinaire by Claudine Tierney. On a visit to Dublin, I decided to go for a ramble. I heard of a matchmaker. Don't judge me too quick. My life was a shamble. It was either that or another bad date. I thought, right, let's try. Something old, something wise. I'll leave it up to faith. As I drove past his house, and I swear to God, I really hope this man isn't a fraud. It was covered in signs saying Donkey Farm and Matchmaker Willie Daly. Somehow this felt a little odd and a little shady. A small little cottage, white walls and a little red door. I wondered what he could possibly have in store. And there he was standing, with hair wild and grey, hand out expecting a €5 pay. Come here, he says, with a wave and a grin, but not to the cottage. To the donkeys out back is where we begin. Now I'm standing there blinking, thinking, right, this is it. When he proudly announces, meet Pamela Anderson, and this one's Brad Pitt. And I swear to God, I just nodded along, because questioning anything felt terribly wrong. Then outside to the cottage, where the real magic's kept, or at least that's the promise he carefully prepped. He pulled out a book, worn and heavy with age, like it carried the weight of each match it had staged. Now put your hand on it, he says, calm and slow. This has matched souls for centuries. You can be part of it now. Passed down through his family, generation to generation, a long line of love, or at least strong persuasion. And I stood there thinking, half charmed, half thinking, what is his deal? If this was pure magic or a well-practised spiel. Home to Dublin I went, and then came the calls. And now once would be fine, but daily calls from unknown numbers should have been a sign. But Willie kept ringing, like I owed him a living. This was becoming annoying and totally unforgiving. Any thoughts on young Seamus? He's 73. He has a bad back, a full head of hair and a dodgy knee. But he's a fine man with plenty of land. I reply, I need someone who I can hike with. I think you understand. Again, my phone lights up. I just roll my eyes high. Here. If it's Willie, I'm not that girl. Bye. I silence the call. Let it ring, let it drop. Like the whole matchmaking plan, I've now decided to stop. Because I asked for a spark. Tall, handsome and rich. Young, funny and charming. Not an old fecker who can't put on his own trousers and only likes farming. Not a man named Paddy, pushing 72, stinking of manure and wanting a young filly to cook him some shoe. Seamus, John, Michael and Paddy, do you not realise you are all older than my very own daddy? I need someone young, vibrant and strong to bring me on dirty weekends away. Please don't get me wrong. So just like the donkeys, Pamela Anderson and Brad Pitt, I think I might give up and simply just split. So if love's in a book that he's flicking through daily, he can keep his old matches. I'm not answering you anymore, Willie Daly.
That was Willie Daly, Matchmaker Extraordinaire by the wonderful Claudine Tierney.
And the fact that he called his donkeys Pamela Anderson and Brad Pitt.
Like, realistically speaking, how old do you think the medium age is going to go down to a man in fucking Clare who's going to put your details in a book? And he lives in a caravan. Like,
I think 73 was young.
Like, that's probably the youngest client he has.
They've got, yeah.
Because obviously in rural Ireland, they probably have about 30 people in the town. Some towns, they're really rural. So they probably have to go to, like, the matchmaking festival to get land, to show off that they have land. Do you ever hear of a thing called road frontage?
Road frontage, I've heard of, yeah.
What is road frontage? Do you know?
I don't know. In my head, I'm like, is it where you? It's a big driveway. Is that what it is?
It's a road facing house.
Oh, is that what it means?
So you have a road that's you have a house.
So when people say like, "Oh, I've got road frontage,"
I'm facing the road. I'm not fucking miles out of the arsehole of nowhere. I'm right beside the road.
Is that what it means?
Road frontage. You're facing the road. You're close.
But don't most houses face the road?
Not in the fucking sticks. They don't. No,
so it's like, I've got road frontage.
Road frontage. You're not down some ditch.
I've got fucking road frontage.
Yeah, but you're in the city, boy. Like, you know what I mean?
City?
You're in the city. You are in the fucking city.
I'm residential.
Compared to the arsehole of Clare, yes, you are.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, as I said, the people from that generation, they're not on the Facebook, they're not on the old internet. I'd say they probably have a fucking.
They might be on Facebook dating actually.
I hope
that seems to grab the people that
Facebook
don't
dating?
know
What's
about
that?
apps. Have you ever used Facebook dating?
No. What is this? It's like,
go on your Facebook. Do you have Facebook anymore?
I think Facebook? I do. Why? What do I have to do?
If you go on Facebook, right, and at the bottom of it, there used to be a heart. There it is, yeah, Facebook dating. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. It's a fun. Listen,
what's this gonna do?
Don't press get started now. You'll ruin your life here.
You'll ruin your life.
But yeah.
Fucking hell! I'm not
bad. It's literally it's scraping the barrel of humanity, basically.
Oh Jesus! Yeah. It's like people buy like couches off Facebook, not husbands.
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be anybody. I know. Like, at least also dating apps are mental as well, but like they seem a little bit more normal than fucking.
How come you never heard of Facebook dating?
It's like a cattle mart on Facebook for fucking people.
Yeah. The pensioners, I think, are on Facebook dating.
Jesus.
And the chavs. You want to get a bit of road frontage or get your head bashed in? Go on to Facebook dating, baby. You're good to go. Speaking of someone that I think would be susceptible for being addicted to online dating, I think we're going to read a short story out now from James Joyce.
Oh, where are we now?
Who I think, because I gave up. I've got a copy of the Ulysses, but I was like, I'm giving up on this. I'm not. It was been the fourth whack at it. Wow. I was like, I'm not even going to try now. I can't get past the bit where he's in Dunleary and I can't read it.
Apparently, the secret to Ulysses is you have to read it in a North Dublin accent.
Oh, okay.
Read it out loud in a North
I
Dublin
might
accent.
try that. I might not. Life is short, so I might just say probably not going to.
It was one of the hardest. Like, I think it took like a fucking month or something, or like whatever to read it. But if you suffer through, the last chapter kind of recaps the whole story. That you can go, oh, that's what he was doing throughout the day.
Oh, okay. So if you just trust it,
and it'll eventually reward you with with a kind of reprieve at the end.
Life is short, though.
But you have to suffer through however many 100 pages of nonsense.
But this was very... I knew that Dubliners was a more of an accessible read, but I didn't quite believe it, if I'm honest. But I bought it anyway, and I tell you what, I'm actually really enjoying it. And there's a story that you're going to read out now called Araby, and it is about, I don't know, like the kind of mystique of loving someone that you don't really know.
Yeah.
And I think if James Joyce was around in 2026, he would be the kind of bloke who would, fall in love with an OnlyFans model that he's subscribed to.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like he'd be that kind of fella.
Going by his letters that we read out about 100 episodes
about the fine
ago.
Ones. Fucking,
he's probably on some fetish sites, I'd say.
Yeah, he'd have a FetLife account.
He's over in he's in Kit Kat in Berlin. He's in one of the fetish clubs, getting whipped with a bag of farts.
Oh, for fuck's sake! But I like this story. It's also about like the tragedy of like human connection when there's really nothing else to keep you going.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I've actually read this as well myself, but it was a couple of years ago. So I'm refreshing my own mind with this. But yeah, it's a really good collection. The Dead? Have you read The Dead yet?
I haven't read The Dead yet.
The Dead is probably my favourite short story of anyone.
Okay.
It's a complete. They actually do. They do performances of the Dead in the Museum of Literature, I believe, and in different parts around Dublin. It's always on certain places, but it's fucking amazing.
Have you been to it, yeah?
I haven't been to it, but I've heard. I'm selling it. What? It's supposed to be fucking amazing. Anyway, shut up.
Just woofing on about all the things you go to.
I haven't been to it, alright? Well, I'm pretending to be cultured, alright? I've read the fucking story, it's amazing. I haven't been to the show, alright? Is that alright?
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking mispronounce it. It's Araby, not Araby, alright? Arabian Nights. Araby.
Okay. Oh,
Araby.
sorry, G, I didn't know it was your man.
Araby.
Fucking hell.
I've said it once more. Araby from Dubliners, from James Joyce. I'm now going to read it. Is that alright?
Yeah, I'll sit back.
Yeah, shut up. Wait, I have to compose myself. Shut the fuck up. North Richmond Street, being blind, was a quiet street except at the hour when the Christian Brothers School set the boys free. An uninhabited house of 2 stories stood at the blind end, detached from its neighbours in a square ground. The other houses of the street, conscious of decent lives within them, gazed at one another with brown, imperturbable faces. The former tenant of our house, a priest, had died in the back drawing room, air musty from having been long enclosed. Hung in all the rooms, and the waste room behind the kitchen was littered with old useless papers. Among these I found a few paper-covered books, the pages of which were curled and damp: The Abbot by Walter Scott, The Devout Communicant, and the Memoirs of Vidkoch. I liked the last best because the leaves were yellow. The wild garden behind the house contained a central apple tree and a few straggling bushes, under one of which I found the late tenant's rusty bicycle pump. He had been a very charitable priest. In his will, he had left all his money to institutions and the furniture of his house to his sister. When the short days of winter came, dusk fell before we had well eaten our dinners. When we met in the street, the houses had grown sombre. The space of sky above us was the colour of ever-changing violet, and towards it the lamps of the street lifted their feeble lanterns. The cold air stung us, and we played till our bodies glowed. Our shouts echoed in the silent street. The career of our play brought us through the dark muddy lanes behind the houses, where we ran the gauntlet of the rough tribes from the cottages to the back doors of the dark dripping gardens where odours arose from the ash pits, to the dark odorous stables where the coachman smoothed and combed the horse or shook music from the buckled harness. When we returned to the street, light from the kitchen windows had filled the areas. If my uncle was seen turning the corner, we hid in the shadow until we had seen him safely housed. Or if Mangan's sister came out on the doorstep to call her brother in to his tea, we watched her from our shadow peer up and down the street. We waited to see whether she would remain or go in, and, if she remained, we left our shadow and walked up to Mangan's steps resignedly. She was waiting for us, her figure defined by the light from the half-opened door. Her brother always teased her before he obeyed, and I stood by the railings looking at her. Her dress swung as she moved, her body and the soft rope of her hair tossed from side to side. Every morning I lay on the floor in the front parlour watching her door. The blind was pulled down to within an inch of the sash so that I could not be seen. When she came out on the doorstep, my heart leaped. I ran to the hall, seized my books, and followed her. I kept her brown figure always in my eye, and when we came near the point at which our ways diverged, I quickened my pace and passed her. This happened morning after morning. I had never spoken to her, except for a few casual words, and yet her name was like a summons to all my foolish blood. Her image accompanied me even in the places the most hostile to romance. On Saturday evenings when my aunt went marketing, I had to go to carry some of the parcels. We walked through the flaring streets, jostled by drunken men and women, amid the curses of labourers, the shrill litanies of shop boys who stood on guard by the barrel of pigs' cheeks, the nasal chanting of street singers who sang a "Come all you" by O'Donovan Rossa, or a ballad about the troubles in our native land. These noises converged in a single sensation of life for me. I imagined that I bore my chalice safely through a throng of foes. Her name sprang to my lips at moments in strange prayers and praises which I myself did not understand. My eyes were often full of tears, I could not tell why, and at times a flood from my heart seemed to pour itself out into my bosom. I thought little of the future. I did not know whether I would ever speak to her or not, or, if I spoke to her, how could I tell her of my confused adoration? But my body was like a harp, and her words and gestures were like fingers running upon the wires. One evening I went into the back drawing room in which the priest had died. It was a dark, rainy evening, and there was no sound in the house. Through one of the broken panes I heard the rain impinge upon the earth, the fine, incessant needles of water playing in the sodden beds. Some distant lamp or lighted window gleamed below me. I was thankful that I could see so little. All my senses seemed to desire to veil themselves, and, feeling that I was about to slip from them, I pressed the palms of my hands together until they trembled, murmuring, "O love," many times. At last she spoke to me. When she addressed the first words to me, I was so confused that I did not know what to answer. She asked me was I going to Araby. I forgot whether I answered yes or no. It would be a splendid bazaar. She said she would love to go. And why can't you? I asked. While she spoke, she turned a silver bracelet round and round her wrist. She could not go, she said, because there would be a retreat that week in her convent. Her brother and 2 other boys were fighting for their caps, and I was alone at the railings. She held one of the spikes, bowing her head towards me. The light from the lamp opposite our door caught the side curve of her neck, lit up her hair that rested there, and, falling, lit up the hand upon the railing. It fell over one side of her dress and caught the white border of her petticoat, just visible as she stood at ease. "It's well for you," she said. "If I go," I said, "I'll bring you something." What innumerable follies laid waste my waking and sleeping thoughts after that evening. I wished to annihilate the tedious intervening days. I chafed against the work of school. At night in my bedroom and by day in the classroom, her image came between me and the page I strove to read. The syllables of the word Araby were called to me through the silence, in which my soul luxuriated and cast an Eastern enchantment over me. I asked for leave to go to the bazaar on Saturday night. My aunt was surprised and hoped it was not some Freemason affair. I answered few questions in class. I watched my master's face pass from amiability to sternness. He hoped I was not beginning to idle. I could not call my wandering thoughts together. I had hardly any patience with the serious work of life, which, now that it stood between me and my desire, seemed to me child's play, ugly, monotonous child's play. On Saturday morning I reminded my uncle that I wished to go to the bazaar in the evening. He was fussing at the hall stand, looking for the hat brush, and answered me curtly, "Yes, boy, I know." As he was in the hall, I could not go into the front parlour and lie at the window. I felt the house in bad humour and walked slowly towards the school. The air was pitilessly raw, and already my heart misgave me. When I came home to dinner, my uncle had not yet been home. Still, it was early. I sat staring at the clock for some time and, when its ticking began to irritate me, I left the room. I mounted the staircase and gained the upper part of the house. The high, cold, empty, gloomy rooms liberated me, and I went from room to room singing. From the front window I saw my companions playing below in the street. Their cries reached me weakened and indistinct, and, leaning my forehead against the cool glass, I looked over at the dark house where she lived. I may have stood there for an hour, seeing nothing but the brown-clad figure cast by my imagination, touched discreetly by the lamplight at the curved neck, at the hand upon the railings, and at the border below the dress. When I came downstairs again, I found Mrs. Mercer sitting at the fire, an old garrulous woman, a pawnbroker's widow, who collected used stamps for some pious purpose. I had to endure the gossip of the tea table. The meal was prolonged beyond an hour, and still my uncle did not come. Mrs. Mercer stood up to go. She was sorry she couldn't wait any longer, but it was after 8 o'clock, and she did not like to be out late, as the night air was bad for her. When she had gone, I began to walk up and down the room, clenching my fists. My aunt said, "I'm afraid you may put off your bazaar for this night of our Lord." At 9 o'clock I heard my uncle's latchkey in the hall door. I heard him talking to himself, and heard the hall stand rocking when it had received the weight of his overcoat. I could interpret these signs. When he was midway through his dinner, I asked him to give me the money to go to the bazaar he had forgotten. "The people are in bed and after their first sleep now," he said. I did not smile. My aunt said to him energetically, "Can't you give him the money and let him go? You've kept him late enough as it is." My uncle said he was very sorry he had forgotten. He said he believed in the old saying, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." He asked me where I was going, and when I told him a second time, he asked me did I know the Arab's farewell to his steed. When I left the kitchen, he was about to recite the opening lines of the piece to my aunt. I held a florin tightly in my hand as I strode down Buckingham Street towards the station. The sight of the streets thronged with buyers and glaring with gas recalled to me the purpose of my journey. I took my seat in a third-class carriage of a deserted train. After an intolerable delay, the train moved out of the station slowly. It crept onward among ruinous houses and over the twinkling river. At Westland Row station, a crowd of people pressed to the carriage doors, but the porters moved them back, saying that it was a special train for the bazaar. I remained alone in the bare carriage. In a few minutes, the train drew up beside an improvised wooden platform. I passed out onto the road and saw by the lighted dial of a clock that it was 10 minutes to 10. In front of me was a large building which displayed the magical name. I could not find any sixpenny entrance, and fearing that the bazaar would be closed, I passed in quickly through a turnstile, handing a shilling to a wary-looking man. I found myself in a big hall girdled of half its height by a gallery. Nearly all the stalls were closed, and the greater part of the hall was in darkness. I recognised the silence like that which pervades a church after service. I walked into the centre of the bazaar timidly. A few people were gathered about the stalls, which were still open. Before a curtain over which the words Café Chantant were written in coloured lamps, 2 men were counting money on a salver. I listened to the fall of coins. Remembering with difficulty why I had come, I went over to one of the stalls and examined porcelain vases and flowered tea sets. At the door of the stall, a young lady was talking and laughing with 2 young gentlemen. I remarked their English accents and listened vaguely to their conversation. "Oh, I never said such a thing." "Oh, but you did." "Oh, but I didn't." "Didn't she say that?" "Yes, I heard her." "Oh, there's a fib." Observing me, the young lady came over and asked me did I wish to buy anything. The tone of her voice was not encouraging. She seemed to have spoken to me out of a sense of duty. I looked humbly at the great jars that stood like eastern guards at either side of the dark entrance to the stall and murmured, "No, thank you." The young lady changed the position of one of the vases and went back to the young man. They began to talk of the same subject. Once or twice the young lady glanced at me over her shoulder. I lingered before her stall, though I knew my stay was useless, to make my interest in her wares seem the more real. Then I turned away, slowly, and walked down the middle of the bazaar. I allowed the 2 pennies to fall against the 6pence in my pocket. I heard a voice call from one end of the gallery that the light was out. The upper part of the hall was now completely dark. Gazing up into the dark, I saw myself as a creature driven and derided by vanity, and my eyes burned with anguish and anger.
That was the short story Araby, taken from The Dubliners by James Joyce. And the last line actually has kept with me since I read it, actually. Like, how many of the things that we do that don't work out the way they should are driven by vanity.
Yeah.
And selfish needs.
It's like a romantic scenario you've built in your brain that you think this is what has to be done, but the other person might not feel that way.
It's like limerence. You heard of limerence before? It's a term. It's basically a lot of limerence happened during lockdown, where people were falling for people they didn't know and creating stories about people that they weren't close to.
Yeah.
So like definitely online was sucking a lot of limerence.
Because it's not, because I think when you meet someone in person, you get an energy, and
well, you know them. You get to know them.
You can suss people. Well, like, you'd like to think you can suss people out fairly quickly, like, just by a few simple real life scenarios, like how you go into a bar or a restaurant, how do they treat the waiter? If they treat them like an arsehole, they're probably an arsehole. 100%. If they're really nice to people, or they give money to a homeless person, they could be like a nice person, or they might just be a bit of crack, So you can kind of pick that up online, as you said, you're looking through a fucking 2D screen. I love you.
Yeah, but of course you're going to build stories about people you don't know.
You're just sick of Zoom quizzes.
That's what online social media is. It's creating stories of people that you don't know through a couple of select images and videos, and maybe hearing their voice a couple of times.
You're presenting an image of what you want the world to see you as.
But I think James Joyce would have been a big sufferer of limerence.
Yeah, projecting.
Like a romantic man who also had some, like, probably some odd viewpoints on women.
He was projecting farts onto people.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, he's a bit of a perv, like, do you know what I mean? A bit of a pervy fella.
Sure, isn't Stephen the Dallas like apparently wanking at the start of the Ulysses or something?
Oh yeah.
That's why it was banned. Apparently he's fucking. Yeah, there you go. Did a little bit of an Easter egg for you there. You didn't want.
I don't think I'll go find it, to be honest. But I will keep enjoying reading the Dubliners. If you haven't listened to a story before from James Joyce, because a lot of people put these things off, like me. Like, do you know what I mean? James Joyce, Ulysses, try and read Ulysses. Like, I guess I don't like James Joyce. It's not true. It's not true.
And then like Finnegan's Wake is supposed to be even worse than Ulysses, because I think what happened was you had Dubliners, you had the portrait of the artist as a young man, which is Stephen the Dallas. And then he's in Ulysses, and then Ulysses is considered a masterpiece. And then it's like he was like, oh, maybe I am a genius. And then he wrote Finnegan's Wake and was like, oh, I'm going to write a book that'll keep them guessing for 300 years. Like the last line, the last line in Finnegan's Wake is there. That's it.
Oh.
It's like he just believed his own fucking... I think he found gold through Ulysses and then decided, well, I'm going to make an even madder version. And people are like, what the fuck is this? This is mental. At least there's like an arc in some sort of, like, there's different, if you break down Ulysses, like there's modules in college you can do for Ulysses, and it breaks down all the different elements.
Life is short.
Life is short.
Life is short.
Life is short. Read Dubliners, it's shorter.
Yeah, do read the Dubliners, it's actually really good. Got a message from a new listener, right? And her name is Niamh.
Niamh.
Hey Niamh, she's in a group called the Psychosis Art Collective, of basically people who suffering from mental illnesses and kind of use art and make art from their experiences to kind of help other people.
Oh wow!
So it's a beautiful thing, and obviously very very vulnerable thing to do. This poem is all about and I never thought about it as an illness before, but it obviously is, because it can dishevel people. I mean, it could take. After reading Dopamine Nation, which you definitely should read, you kind of get an understanding of like, fucking hell, like people's minds can be their worst enemy, like all of the time. Like, so this is about intrusive thoughts, and the poem is called "Busy Intrusive Thoughts" by Niamh B. They lie between us, communicating perverse intent, awkward fear, and discombobulation anxiety. Navigating the discomfort of ideas. Not wanted. Not true. Not me. But stuck around me and mine. Between self and other. Hovering between the flow of consciousness of people. A suffocating awkwardness. A nervous energy. Busy, intrusive thoughts. Haunt my core. They lie sprinkled between conversation, like gremlin demon energy, to ruin my interactions, my communication, my social bliss. Such busy intrusive thoughts alienates me, separates me, stunts me, makes communication difficult. A test of friendship to navigate, to stay communicating, to trust friendship and connecting, to wash off the gremlin energy between us. My clean core mind is afflicted by heavy, uncomfortable thoughts and ideas that flicker around me lightly, about other people and me, lies and demon mischief, freaking me out, to suffer socialising, stifling my care of abundant joy-filled communication, creating struggle to enjoy social connection. Thankfully, my busy intrusive thoughts are lightly sprinkled, only every so often socially. They choke my flow of joy-filled communicating, where sadness and nervous grief are the curse residue on me, on my core quality of care, to build like-minded solidarity. But my busy, intrusive thoughts are somebody's joke somewhere, watching me squirm and recoil, twist and die, a social sprinkle of death, a small moment of grief. Over tiny sprinkles of uncomfortable thoughts about me and others. That makes me sad inside. A little bit of heavy dread. The curse of busy, intrusive thoughts. A social embarrassment to me and others. I softly hide and stay well, with careful socialising selections safely, as best I can. Busy, intrusive thoughts is my main disability.
That was Busy Intrusive Thoughts by Niamh B.
A vulnerable piece.
Definitely.
I was in the pub chatting about this kind of thing, because what happens to me, I don't know what happens to you, but every couple of days, my brain would just it would just swoop in,
right,
and take me somewhere that I don't want to go.
Yeah,
and it could happen anytime.
Really,
watching football, working from home, and my brain just go, yeah, now it's time. I'm swooping in, and it doesn't mean it's going to be a dark place, but it's going to be a place where like I didn't really buy a ticket for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It could be fucking anywhere. Like, it could be thoughts of my past, thoughts on gambling, thoughts of things that I've done that are embarrassing, sexual thoughts. Like, it brings me away and it puts me back. And I go, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It almost feels like a bird. It feels like a bird coming down and clawing me, and then like kind of, and then like I shake it off and like, okay, back to normal now, I guess.
Kev Kennedy there's a line in one of his poems, and it's like, the brain burglars always come when Kevin's at home alone.
Oh.
And they're like burglars. They just kind of come in, they break into your gaff and just fill your head full of shite, and then they fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, they steal your joy or your sense of calm. But it's intrusive thoughts are fucking mental. I remember, like, you ever get, like, I call them mental Tourette's. Mental Tourette's is like, you know, when you want to do something, it's like a mad thought. Like, say you're in like a really, really quiet room, like a library, and it's like your brain just goes, just shout right now. Just fucking scream. Do you ever get that? It's like a bold talk.
This is bad.
And you're like,
happens to when I'm walking behind old people, and my brain goes, just kick them. Yeah.
So
kick.
I was really worried about this, because I was like, is there a fucking serial killer living inside me? But it turns out, right, that I read a book on psychopathy, because I read fucking mad things. Psychopathy, right? It's a spectrum.
Yeah,
it's a spectrum. And so, but apparently it's like it's your conscience testing you at random times, so that your conscious mind will go, I'm not fucking doing that, because
no,
that's
I'm not doing that.
I'm not tripping up someone's nanny in the middle of fucking Tesco.
I'm not gonna jump at the exit door on a plane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this stuff,
or like mad shit, you know, or like trip people in like when they're going up and down the corridors, you know, all this mad stuff. But apparently, it's your conscience testing you. Because on average, for a regular person, we'll be like, well, I'm just not going to do that, and you'll weigh out the consequences. It's like it's testing itself. But with like serial killers or people that have like because a lot of serial killers tend to have like brain damage with the frontal lobe, so the risk assessment. People that do mad shit like that, they don't have that part that stops them. So they just fucking do something mental, because the brain has just tested. It's like a misfire. Where it's like
fucking hell, man.
It's like testing your seatbelt, but there's no seatbelt.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, fucking hell.
And then, like, again with the whole intrusive thoughts of like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I having these mad thoughts? Back to the Grandmaster Andy Puddicombe from Headspace, and he's like, your thoughts are not your own. It's like a river, and they're consciously just flowing. You're not in control of your thoughts. You can't control when you have bad thoughts, good thoughts, whatever it is. But you just have to just accept thoughts will just come and go, and they'll never stick around. And you can't just, you know, it's like, I remember I told you about when meditation's like when you're on a busy road and the cars are your thoughts, and meditation's like going off the road and sitting on the wall and watching the thoughts go by, rather than getting into every thought and go blah, blah, blah. I suppose in a way that's kind of applicable to bad thoughts. It's like a bad thought's just like a really shit car, and imagine you're just getting into really shit cars all the time, when you could just sit back on the road,
just watch
the cars go by.
Having that imagery just help you sleep better, by the way.
And even
I remember when I first learned that, I was like, fucking hell, I started sleeping really well.
Yeah, and I think it's just like being able to put something into like almost like a little story or an analogy is like half the battle. You know, when you're like, that's because of this. Like the blue sky thing, when we were talking about, it's
always blue.
It's always blue above the clouds, no matter how things. And even thinking like that, you're like, that's a really good analogy. It's like, even like, isn't it Zen Buddhism, Japanese Zen Buddhism? They ask these questions that like don't really have an answer, but it's like the journey of trying to answer the question causes enlightenment. So you don't have to have like an actual answer, but it's just you trying to discover. It's just the process of trying to be better will lead to a better place, rather than actually getting to it.
Thanks, Niamh. Honestly, wow, Jesus, amazing poem,
fantastic piece, very honest piece, and should be very proud. Yeah.
Speaking of helpful women who contribute to the podcast every now and again,
she started her own wellness ranch apparently.
Has she?
She's starting a wellness ranch. Yeah. No, you need to tell people who she is, because the mystery figure.
Well, it's the agony aunt.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's the agony aunt. She's been called upon again.
The queen of intrusive thoughts.
The queen of intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And actually, it's weird that she has a wellness retreat, because this problem comes from someone who is from the corporate world.
Oh yes.
Who may require
a wellness retreat. Of course.
The problem is, I am emotionally disconnected for some time from my current corporate job. I've lined up a new role in a similar large multinational. Pay is better, culture seems a good fit, and I'm excited about the change. Despite this, I fear I may be self-sabotaging by not getting back to them quick enough. We're on the corporate fence.
I'll tell you what.
Sitting on the corporate fence.
I'll tell you what happened. I was down on the wellness ranch.
Yeah.
And there was a swimming pool of green tea and hibiscus flowers. Hibiscus, you know. And past the pools of scented fragrance, there was a lovely herbal remedy coming from the scented pools all around the place. There was a eucalyptus spa, like a sauna, I believe. There was people walking
maybe
on
a Japanese bath.
A Japanese bath. There was people walking on hot coals. It was a busy wellness retreat, I have to say. So I went down to the kombucha bar, and there behind the kombucha bar was, of course, the one and only
the agony aunt.
The agony aunt. Yeah. And I said, we've a quandary. We have a quandary to cure here. And she was like, well, you're in the right place. What can I do for you? And I presented her with this particular problem. She presented to me a bottle of homemade, homebrewed kombucha. And on the bottle was this poem. Was this poem on the back of a kombucha bottle? It's as if she made her own. She knew what she was doing when she printed the bottle stickers. It was crazy. And as you said on the corporate fence, the title of the poem was
The Corporate Fence.
On the Corporate Fence.
Corporate Fence.
She's like a fucking psychic. I don't know where she gets it. How does she she knows us better than we know ourselves. So anyway, I'll get into it. This is On the Corporate Fence by the Agony Aunt. I've been doing some double dipping with two hearts that are simply smitten with yours truly. Courting two hearts at the same time, simultaneously flirting with the prospects as I'm wined and dined by two corporate entities. I feel like I'm split into two different identities. A double agent that's facing a dilemma. I'm like a young vixen with two fellas. But I need to choose which opportunity that'll shake away these occupational blues. See, the first one is like an old pair of shoes, while the second one is more like a brand new pair of Crocs, fun and exciting, like a freshly put on pair of jocks. But I've been double jobbing too long, left my new boot on red, and I'm worried they're off with some other young one instead. But if they'll make me happy, and the old job won't be at me, grinding my gears, boring me to tears, well, this new place I shall flock to for at least a couple of years.
That was the Agony Aunt with On the Corporate Fence.
She never disappoints.
No. And I definitely think that person's going to be pushed to either side of the fence.
To either side of their choosing.
Of their choosing.
Stay in the doldrums or move to something new and exciting.
Listen, it can be scary to jump, but you usually have to jump.
Look, we're not going to make that decision for you, but hopefully the poem's helped you in the right direction.
Yeah.
From the Agony Aunt, of course.
And speaking of poems helping you in the right direction.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This poem's been brought up to me a couple of times recently. You know, everyone's got a poem that they know. Yeah. Everyone you know, doesn't matter what walk of life, they've got a poem that they know. This got brought up, I think 3 times last week. I think because the sun's out.
Yeah.
And we're in the long stretch, aren't we?
We're in the grand stretch.
I'm sure you've heard this before. Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen by Baz Luhrmann.
I heard that first when I was 18. I actually remember the friend who even showed it to me, and it's fucking incredible.
Isn't it always a friend that shows you?
It's always a friend.
This was a friend of mine who showed it me on a beach in Mexico, and he was like, you have to listen. I'd never fucking saw it, so I was lying back and listening to this with my shades on going, this is fucking... I was like, Baz Luhrmann?
Yeah.
The fucking director guy.
Yeah.
Like, director guy, yeah.
It's fucking incredible. It's
amazing.
A masterpiece, yeah. That was probably one of the first times listening to spoken word in that sense, yeah. Like of any sort of spoken word was that. And then after that, I thought, geez, I better start wearing sun cream. And enjoy my life.
So this is Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen by Baz Luhrmann. Leon, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, never to chore around.
See you next week.
See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 99, where Sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they've faded. But trust me, in 20 years, you'll look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You are not as fat as you imagine. Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind, the kind that blindsides you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Do one thing every day that scares you. Sing. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts. Don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Floss. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. Get plenty of calcium. Be kind to your knees. You'll miss them when they're gone. Maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have children, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll divorce at 40. Maybe you'll dance the funky chicken on your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much, or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance. So are everybody else's. Enjoy your body. Use it every way you can. Don't be afraid of it or what other people think of it. It's the greatest instrument you'll ever own. Dance. Even if you have nowhere to do it but in your own living room. Read the directions, even if you don't follow them. Do not read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly. Get to know your parents. You never know when they'll be gone for good. Be nice to your siblings. They're your best link to your past and the people most likely to stick with you in the future. Understand that friends come and go, but with a precious few, you should hold on. Work hard to bridge the gaps in geography and lifestyle, because the older you get, the more you need the people you knew when you were young. Live in New York City once, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once, but leave before it makes you soft. Travel. Accept certain inalienable truths. Prices will rise, politicians will philander, you too will get old. And when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. Respect your elders. Don't expect anyone else to support you. Maybe you have a trust fund, maybe you'll have a wealthy spouse. But you never know when either one might run out. Don't mess too much with your hair, or by the time you're 40, it will look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth. But trust me on the sunscreen.